Okay, right now we're going to talk about chunk writing, paragraph writing. We are eventually going to be writing an essay, a whole essay, using this chunk writing format. It's very formulaic type of writing. There's good points to using this type of writing and bad, and we'll talk about that as we go. This is probably going to be a fairly long video, so please pause it if you need to. Also, you might want to have out a piece of paper. Um, or watch it once and then watch it again with a piece of paper so you can take some notes on it because you're going to need this type of information. Now, you might have gotten this last year. I'm not sure what the middle school did, if they were able to hit this with the COVID, with the virus and thing, and going online and whatnot. So this might be a review for you. It might not. Okay, so what I'm talking about right now is just chunk writing, paragraph writing, the body paragraph writings. The intro paragraph will be formulaic too, but that's not what this necessarily is about. So this is a very, very type of formula, as in sentences need to be a certain type. Okay, so the start of your body paragraph would be what's called a topic sentence right here. Now, that topic sentence it needs to have a subject and an opinion. It basically it's the opinion. That's what the paragraph is about. Okay, and we need to color this one. We're going to color it in blue, so that way that when you write this out, you color the sentences various colors to show that you know that the sentence needs to be functioning a certain type of sentence. So our first sentence, the topic sentence, we're going to color that blue. Okay. Then the following sentence, the sentence after that, is going to be a concrete detail. We're going to color those sentences red. Now, a concrete detail is simply a fact. It's a fact from the story. In this case, we're talking about writing literary analysis um, paragraphs here. So this would be a fact from the story. These facts can either be paraphrased or they can be directly quoted from the text. Paraphrase just means you put it into your own words, but it's a fact. You're not making any judgments or any analysis. You'll have other sentences to do that, like commentary, but here you're just giving a fact. Okay. Um, what's the fact about, though? Well, this concrete detail is a fact that pertains to whatever your opinion was in the topic sentence. So if you're saying Madame Loisel from The Necklace was very, very selfish and materialistic, let's just go with materialistic. She just likes material things. She thinks that's important. Then the concrete detail would be something from the story that proves that. Okay, if you quote it directly from the story, then it's directly quoted, or if you paraphrase it. Now, either way, though, you need to make sure that you have a page number from the text to show where you get it. So if you directly quote it, and remember when I'm talking about directly quoting, I'm not necessarily talking about dialogue. So it might not be things that she say. It could be, but you directly quote from the text. Or if you paraphrase it, you need to say what page in the text you got it from. Now, in short stories, there's not a ton of pages. Novels, obviously, there would be, but you still would need to put the page number there, parentheses, similar to what you did in The Most Dangerous Game character traits assignments. And there's a reason for that. Okay. Now, when you go to put down the concrete detail, there needs to be a transition. And we're going to use formulaic transitions as in what I'm saying, everybody's going to. So you're either going to use the words for example, and then the quote goes, or in addition, and then your fact from the story goes. Um, and if you're using a quote, we need to lead up to it. We need to put a lead in there. We don't just want to drop a quote in there. What's referred to as called a quote bomb. We need to set it up so we know so the reader knows what you're referring to. Okay. And again, this concrete detail deals with this topic sentence. Okay. Following that, then we have commentary. Now, this is the analysis part. And out of writing this type of formulaic essay paragraphs, this is probably the most difficult part. This is where your analysis is. This is your opinion of what the concrete detail means. Okay, this is analysis. No summary, please. Okay, we don't want summary. You need to tell me what it means. And same thing here. We need some kind of transitions here, and we're going to use formulaic transitions again. They're kind of boring, but they work great. You're going to say start out with "this shows," and if you have another piece of commentary, you'd say, "This also shows." So basically, you're just explaining the concrete detail as far as what it means. So if I put a fact in there, how Miss Loisel was felt like she needed to borrow the necklace to look pretty. That's great. Down here, though, then I'm going to explain why that's significant. I'm not going to add any more summary at all. I'm going to say this shows and then make a judgment call. And that would be my judgment call because this is my analysis of that part of the literary stuff. Okay, so moving on, the last sentence at the end of the paragraph is be a concluding sentence, and this is going to be where you're going to basically the easiest way to do this is to restate what's in your topic sentence. You want to make sure you use other words because we just want to avoid being super repetitive here. And the most part is that the closing sentence in the paragraph needs to provide closure. It should feel like it's the paragraph is now over. So basically, this is going to tell you what the paragraph's about. This is going to help prove that your opinions are correct because your opinion is stated here. Miss Loisel is too materialistic. Here's some textual evidence to support that. Here's me explaining that textual evidence further, and then here's me closing it out. Here's what I just said, pretty simply. Okay, now there's some terminologies we need to understand as we talk about it. So when we refer to chunk writing, this is what we're referring to, a chunk, concrete detail followed by commentary. Now, for literary analysis, it's going to follow a ratio. Ratio would be for every one concrete detail you have, you need at least 2 sentences of commentary. Now, that differs for other types of essays. For example, if you're doing a research paper, because it's a research paper, you're going to have more concrete details, more research, but you're still going to have a whole lot of uh, analysis of that. So that stays the same. But again, you'd follow a different type of ratio. You'll also hear the words weaving a little bit here, and I didn't finish the definition here. I'll have to type that in. Weaving is kind of a blending of facts and opinions, and that's fine eventually. But for right now, though, we're going to keep our sentences very, very simple. And again, there's some good parts to this and some bad parts to this. The good part is it really kind of avoids writer's block because you're going to get a prompt, you're going to answer that prompt, and your body paragraphs then are going to be following this type of format. We're going to be focusing on this, the 2-chunk writing, and you'll notice here you have a topic sentence here, okay, and this would be the opinion. This would explain part of the answer to the prompt, okay. Then you have a concrete detail, which talks about that topic sentence, proves it's true. 2 pieces of commentary, which explain then the concrete detail. Then you start over. Give me another concrete detail that supports this and more analysis, and then a closing sentence. So if we're doing a 2-chunk paragraph, how long is the paragraph? Well, let's count, shall we? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 total sentences. And that's it. If you have more than 8, then something went wrong. You had one too many sentences in there. So chunk writing, again, is good in the sense that you know what the sentences need to be because we can tell what the difference between a fact or an opinion. Oops, and those should not be blue. Sorry. I forgot to mention that your commentary should be green, not blue. So let me change that here. Notice how easy it is to change it. These Google Docs work pretty well for this. Okay, so again, your commentary, you know it's commentary, your opinion is going to be green. Make sure it's dark green. If you do that light green, you really can't read it. Okay. Now, obviously, we're doing the color changing only on this type of essay. In a regular essay, everything would just be normal color, be black. Okay, so let me give you an example of a paragraph here that follows this chunk writing. Okay, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Hopefully, you know that children's fable. Maybe it was read to you. I hope so. If not, I'm sure you know the story. Okay, so I have my topic sentence here. I make it a subject and an opinion. The subject is Goldilocks because that's is based on the literary analysis of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So it's based on her character, and I'm making the judgment call that she is disrespectful. Goldilocks is disrespectful. There you go. So now I need to go to the text and prove that. This here, notice I said, for example, you'll do the same, very formulaic type of transition, but it transitions from this opinion to this fact, then makes the writing flow. It's called sentence fluency. Not my speaking isn't very fluent, but it's sentence fluency. So here, this is paraphrased. This is my own words, but I still got the information from page 3. So I say, for example, when wandering through the woods, she lets herself into a home belonging to another family. Page 3. Notice there's there's a space there, only one space, and the period goes here because this period then means and the 3 then represents where this got. So page 3 was where this sentence came from. Okay, even though it's paraphrased, that's where the information came from. Okay, now I need 2 pieces of commentary, and they're colored green. I got that color right. Okay, and this is my opinion, my analysis. Notice that it's not more summary. She engages in a criminal act, showing her disregard for society's laws. In doing so, she is expressing a blatant disrespect for the homeowner's rights to privacy. So I'm explaining what it shows. Okay, now, because this is a 2-chunk paragraph, I have to repeat that chunk in the same ratio. Okay, and I start with the formulaic transition in addition. So it's a little bit different than for example, but it's similar. So, um, so we got for example, and this actually should be quoted. Okay, this is one I got actually from the text itself. So, in addition, Goldilocks uh, breaks the bear's personal. Oh, sorry about that. It doesn't go there. Okay, so I have my transition here, and then I have my lead in here. So I lead in then to the direct quote. So see how it flows here. In addition, Goldilocks breaks the bear's personal property. Directly quoted. So this comes from the story. This is where I take the author's words exactly. Notice that this is narration. This isn't dialogue. You could have dialogue if you want to, if it fits. Okay. But again, if I'm going to do direct quoting, I really only want one sentence. I don't want to put down a direct quote of multiple sentences because that provides problems. We don't want your direct quoting concrete detail to write the essay for you. Really, most of the essay is going to be based on the commentary anyhow, but you just want to. So here we go. So here's my quote again. She was too heavy for the little chair and it broke in pieces under her weight. That came from page 6. And again, how do you find page 6? Because obviously Goldilocks and Three Bears I got off a PDF. We go over here and go up and down. It'll tell you which page it's from. Okay, now you have my opinion here. This is, again, analysis, not summary. It's not a fact. She doesn't care that, she's destroyed someone else's cherished furniture. All she cares about is that her own personal needs are being met. Then I have my final sentence there, concluding sentence. Goldilocks has a disregard for all individuals but herself. Notice how it's kind of similar to this, to my topic sentence, but it's just restated in different words. And that's an example of a 2-chunk paragraph. So how many sentences is it? Well, if you count them up, there should be only 8. Okay. And for your assignment this week is we're going to practice this, and then eventually we're going to be actually writing a whole essay using this type of format here. We're going to practice this as we go. Okay. If you need to rewind and watch this as many times as you need to.